Hi everyone, and welcome to a Record Manager NACO Functionality Overview video. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Laura.
And we are with the Metadata Quality section here at OCLC. In this video, Laura will show us linking between records, exporting records, and adding and replacing records. Laura?
Thanks, Nathan. For the purpose of this quick overview, I will be talking about the menu options that only apply to working with authority records. There are a variety of training videos on the WorldShare Record Manager training website if you would like more detailed information about the menu options that are not covered today. I'm going to start with a display of an authority record and demonstrate linking between records. On the screen is the corporate name record for OCLC. I've removed the 510 from this record in order to illustrate the linking that is available between records in the same authority file. I would like to link this record to the record that represents the earlier name, Ohio College Library Center. I'm going to navigate to the record for the Ohio College Library Center. When I click on Copy Authority Data, the 010 and 110 fields are copied into the buffer, and you see the success message here. Going back to the authority record that I'm linking to, from the Edit menu, I choose Insert See Also Link. The heading text is added to the record in a 510 field, along with the subfield 0 containing the record control number. Notice that the name is now hyperlinked, allowing the navigation from one record to the other. Linking is also available between the LC and Canadiana authority files by linking with 7XX fields.
So if there was an equivalent Canadiana authority file for the OCLC record, I could link to that record, correct?
That's correct. If there was an equivalent Canadiana authority record, I could add the link for the Canadiana record into a 710 field using the same method by copying the authority data from the Canadiana record, and from the Edit menu, I would do Insert Equivalency Link instead. Going back to the authority record for OCLC, if there was an inadvertent change made to the linked field, and I'll demonstrate that by adding some text to this 510, you can refresh the 510 and reinsert the correct name by choosing Refresh, Equivalency, and See Also links from the record menu. When you take that action, you will be presented with a message that the heading was refreshed, along with the text that was in the field before the refresh. You will get the same result when you add or replace a record with linked fields that have been modified. Another action that you can take from the record menu is to view superseded versions, which is the equivalent to searching the authority history file to view all versions of an authority record. And we cover that in more detail in the searching overview. You can also derive an authority record from another authority record, and in doing that, you are presented with a new template with the fields copied over from the authority record you derived from. This option is covered in more detail in the Creating Records overview. Other actions that you can take from the record menu are Reformat and Validate. When you reformat a record, the fields are resorted in the correct numeric order, and other minor changes occur as well, such as empty fields dropping off the record. When you validate a record, not only does validation check for errors in the record, but it also checks the authority file for the existence of a duplicate heading within the same authority file. When a validation error or duplicate heading exists, you will be presented with a message below the field that it applies to. From the record menu, you can also send the record to an export list or your local system, and you can send a record change request to WorldCat Metadata Quality for correction. When you take this action, you are presented with a dialog box to include the details for the request. Moving over to the Save menu, you can add or replace the authority record from this menu. One of the exciting new features of NACO functionality in Record Manager is the ability to correct a record that you have already added or replaced.
Yes, this is particularly frustrating when I noticed a typo in my record just after adding it.
Yes, exactly. So now it's possible to update the record while the record shows that it is still in the queue for contribution. I'm going to demonstrate this by jumping over to a record that I replaced today. And you see the record is queued for contribution. I'm going to make a change by removing a field, just to demonstrate. And you'll see that I'm able to replace the record. When queued for contribution changes to in contribution, you will no longer be able to make changes to that record until it's returned back from the Library of Congress. Also from the Save menu, you can save and lock a record or save an in-progress record. You can choose to lock the record at any time of the process when working with the record, and if you have made edits to the record, those changes will be retained when you apply the lock. Save in progress is simply saving the record without placing a lock on the record. Going back to my OCLC record, I'm going to do a save and lock, and you are presented with a dialog box where you can indicate your workflow status, and you can also set your own status, which I'll use my initials. Once that record is saved, you'll see the save file number, how many days until the lock expires, and the status that the record is locked. If you search and display a record that is already locked by another user, you will also see this lock indication on the screen. Once you take either of the save actions on a record, you will see some new options appear on the record menu. If you are being reviewed by another institution, you can submit your record for review by entering the institution symbol here. You can also recall the record from review from this menu, as well as delete the in-progress record and release the lock. Note that when you release this lock, it does not remove the record from the save file. If you would like to remove the record from the save file, then you go back to delete the in-progress authority record from your record menu. And that covers all the menu options you have available when working with authority records.
Thanks everyone for listening, and if you're interested in other overview videos for NACO functionality in Record Manager, be sure to check out the Record Manager Community Center. Thanks!
Thank you.